What's up guys, welcome back to part number 4 of my AH-1Z Viper helicopter build, the 35th scale Academy kit. So today's episode we're going to talk about the wonderful, exciting world of rotor blades. In particular we're going to use this resin, second resin for the kit. So this kit, this set here right here is the AH-1Z blade fold set by Legend. So it allows us to kind of fold these blades up so we're not like a huge kind of footprint when we try to display this aircraft. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's talk about blade folds. So I apologize in this video, and probably all the other videos in the series, I probably call it a wing fold. So I apologize in advance, I'm an aircraft guy, I'm just used to saying wing fold, not blade fold. But we're going to talk about blade fold. This is my first ever helicopter. The reason for that is mainly because the rotors are rotor blades are so big and wide, it takes a huge area up, it's kind of, a square shape, it's hard to display, that kind of stuff. So when I saw it as a fold set, it's a big plus to me. And this one wasn't very expensive. It's Legend Productions. I think I got off eBay for about $12. LF1367. And what it basically does is it has a couple of these little resin pieces here, which allows you to fold the blades. So more of a so it keeps a smaller footprint. So you got like a long shape across the fuselage, but you're not kind of sticking out to the side. That kind of makes sense. So what you get in the box, we get these come in two halves. So you get 4 of these little pieces. I've shown them. I've started working on this already. So I've got one right here. So you get 4 of these guys. It's a few little parts, and then this thing, which is LP, and it's a piece of metal. I have no idea what it is. It's not in the instructions. It's not anywhere. I'm not sure if this was accidentally put in there or what the deal with this is. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but a little piece of like photo etched metal for some reason. If you know what it is, please put in the comments below, because I'm curious if it's accidentally put in here or if it actually does something. I don't know. So you can kind of see on here the deal. So you have 2 of the kit blades, and then you use these to the side to kind of like to swing the blades in. So instructions call for some surgery on D2. So the blades in this set, there's D1s and there's D2s. So D1s you put on as normal. Actually, bring this guy in now and you can kind of see it. So D1 are these 2, and D2 is the one you do surgery on. So I've done this side already, and you see actually active mechanism. So you can actually really open it and close it, which I didn't realize. So that's pretty cool. So it actually swings. So this piece is done. We're going to work on this side. Obviously, I've glued that one on already with super glue, and we just need to do some surgery for the blade, and then attach this guy over the top like that, and then it kind of creates the effect. Well, not the effect, but creates the mechanism. One thing to note is there is where is it? This guy right here, this little pin. I noticed on the other side it's a little too big, so I cut it down a little bit, just so you don't, because I've got a little bit of a seam on this side I'm going to have to take care of. So you just need to cut that down, and then other than that it should fit up relatively okay. Also it's resin, so it needs some blending and stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of so you can see what I'm talking about. So if I've got the blade out, you can see how big a space it takes up, whereas if it's like that, it's a lot narrower, more manageable, I think. So let me kind of put all this stuff to the side real quick, and we'll kind of do this live, some surgery live, which always makes me nervous, but I'll move that out of the way. So what you're going to do on these 2 parts, which is D2, are the ones you're going to kind of mess with. Just notice a little bit, there you go, a little bit rough. You basically cut this end bit off. See where I marked it with Sharpie? Now, when I first saw this, I thought, oh my god, this looks really complicated, I'm going to damage it, and it's going to be a big deal. Actually, it's not so bad. So what I'm going to do is I cut it. The easy way I found to cut it with a pair of sprue cutters. Now, I don't use my best ones, because these fragile and or break the blade or whatever. I got an old set here I've had for years, which I use just for chopping through sprue and bigger parts. So what we're basically going to do is we're just going to cut through this bit right here along the side, which always makes me nervous cutting kit parts, because if you screw it up, I have to buy another kit or try to source a part again. So throw that bit in the trash, and then you got the race bit on the back here. So the race bit, I'm just going to take sprue cutters flush, and just kind of chomp away at it a little bit. The more I take off now, the less sanding we got to do. Just get it off the mat. So see, I've kind of chopped some of this down. I could do a little bit more there probably. I don't go too much though and cut through it. That's my problem. Okay, that's better. Ow, I just kind of caught my skin now. Okay, so, but that side's actually perfect. So all we need to do now is I take a rough, coarse sanding stick, and I just need to sand this away, and it should expose the perfect shape underneath it. So it's not that bad of a surgery. It's actually pretty straightforward. I say it now. I'd say it. I don't want to hope it don't screw it up, but so I'm just going to sand away using a coarse stick so it gets rid of, gets rid of it quicker. And you can see it's actually not that bad. You sand it down, it gets the perfect shape you need. So come in with a smoother one, just get rid of little scratches, kind of smooth it down a little bit. And then with a knife, I just want to cut out just a tiny little bit in here. Like that, and give it another quick sand. And it's easy as that. So next thing the instructions says is just to drill that hole out. So it's already marked for, I call it close, you can see the hole's already there, it just need to be drilled all the way through. So what I'm going to, it's half a mil, so I'm just going to take one of my little PCB drill things here. I'm just going to drill a hole through to create like a pilot hole, and then I'm coming with my Proxon. I got half mil drill bit in my Proxon, so I can just cut through that, just widen out, no problem. But just that little pilot hole first, just get the Proxon in, and I'll drill those holes out, and that is really it. I mean, it can be a little bit daunting at times, but that wasn't so bad because the way it's raised, you don't have to do a bunch of shape work and surgery and stuff. So I'm just going to drill those holes out, and then what will happen is this will just kind of sit like on that side. Well, obviously the hole's not drilled, but when the hole's drilled, it'll sit like that. So put it on the hole, get some super glue down the sides, and then basically put this guy on top like that, and then it'll just allow you to kind of fold it out, which is really cool. So like it a lot. Some smaller parts and stuff just gonna go in resin parts to go on there. I think this is my first helicopter, and I think I might have screwed it up. I think painting these first would probably be the way to go, maybe a little bit easier, but hey, I'll do what I can. So it should just be straight lines and stuff I'm masking. So I think I'm just going to glue it all together. I'm committed now, so I'm glue it all together and then paint it as one. But mainly, the only thing is these parts you can have a seam line take care of and stuff, but I still think maybe painting all these first and then just touching up where you need to is probably a better way to go, to be honest with you, than the way I'm doing it. But anyway, so let me go ahead, drill these two holes, get this all put together, and we kind of see how we're looking. Okay, so here it is, all together. Did a little bit of filling down the side. Being resin, I usually use Vallejo. I like the Vallejo kind of water-based putty, but this time I'm doing a little bit stronger. So I'm going to do Tamiya, the basic type. This is more of a lacquer-based, kind of grey colour. So this is more of a heavy-duty one I use on this one. So I did it, left it overnight to fully dry, and sanded it back, and took care of, I think, hopefully these seam lines. So that was no problem at all. Again, it's kind of nice. These are removable, so these blades do kind of go out, or you can slide them back in, which is kind of cool. I didn't realize you could do that with this set. One thing I'm kind of picking out these mistakes. So if you guys are making this kit, you won't make the same mistakes as I. In my haste, where is it? I'm looking at instructions. There's a little part there that goes in these blades. The two plastic blades we're using, these ones, there's these two little guys that go inside before you sandwich two parts together, and a little kind of peg sticks up through the middle. I forgot to do that, but it wasn't such a big deal. So what I did was I just cut the peg away from the sure if I still have the part or not. I don't think I do. I think I threw it away. So I just cut the peg off, and then just put it in the hole and glued it, which I think you're obviously not going to see inside the blade anyway, so I think that was fine. So got away with that one. So again, just before you sandwich these two pieces together, just make sure you stick that little part from the inside. That's done. I did glue the kind of the base on here too somewhat. I was going to do it separately, but then it's kind of going out a little bit. Had all these plastic kind of things going down. The instructions on the resin set do not mention it, but you got to add them to, obviously to all 4 rotor blades. You got to add them to this too. So it was plastic. I found 1, 2 snapped. They're really delicate, and once they snapped, I could never get them perfectly straight again. There's always a slight bow or whatever. It didn't quite look right. So plus maybe a little bit overscaled too with being plastic. So I came back with some. Lucky I had some of this stuff. This evergreen. This is number 218, which is basically 1/2 mil rod. You can guys see that, which actually worked better. So what I did was I just cut the 4 pieces and just glued them in to replace it. So rather than having the crappy ones, now we got the 4. See the white evergreen rod there I added, which don't look. I don't know if that's on right or not, but that'll do for me. So anyway, so that's on, and this is all together. All the parts are added. So this is now ready to kind of sit on top of the aircraft, and it does somewhat rotate, I guess, if you want to go down that route. But next step is going to paint it. So look at the colors. It's basically going to be flat black on the underside and light ghost gray on the top, and then down the front of the blades, silver, like aluminum stripe, like leading edges basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with painting it all with the Mr. Surfacer 1500 black, and this black will be perfect for the underside of the blade color too. So we'll spray everything with this, then we'll come back, we'll hit the top light ghost gray, then mask it off, paint leading edges, and the center part here is going to be steel. So it's not. I'll see how we go if I need to mask it, and I might spray it or I might just hand paint it. The center part here steel, and add like a little wash to it and stuff. But we'll get to that when we get to it. So first of all, take this kind of thing. I'm a little nervous. It seems pretty strong, but there's a lot of delicate parts here, and I know it's kind of tricky to handle. So it's going to be a little tough maybe. But anyway, so I'm going to get this in a spray booth. I'm going to get everything painted in black for the primer, and then we'll come back. Okay, so painted it up. Firstly, with this little plastic cup here I have mixed my paints in. What great, cut a hole on the top, stuck it in. Makes it a little bit easier to kind of maneuver and stuff. So painted the top. Well, firstly, you should say hit the whole thing in the black in the Mr. Surfacer 1500, and the top. I didn't mask it. I just sprayed it right down with the light ghost gray. Now I've masked up 2 leading edges with some polished aluminium or aluminum, depending where you are in the world. I did 2 because I figured there's a lot of masking tape here, so I can recycle that. So rather than going through rolls of masking tape, let's do 2, peel it off, and then do the other 2. We'll probably wait. I think I'm going to do this right now. So again, just being a little bit tight on here on using all this tape, but these 2 both. I masked both the upper and lower, and we'll go with that. So let me start painting on these leading edges or these blades. Wait, did I call them wings? I think I might call them wings, but obviously I mean rotor blades if I did say that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this done. Right, so we're painted up. The leading edge is done. Showing the light, you can see that on the bottom. And what you can see I've done too is I've kind of, I don't know if the light's going to pick this up or not, but I kind of went back and created some blotches, just kind of break the gray up a little bit. So on this I use my usual XF19, a little tonal difference. Again, just sprayed like dots here and there. Again, I'm not sure how well you can see this in this light right now. I mean, if you can see that or not, but just breaks it up. The center I hand painted with some steel model layer. I went hand painted because obviously obviously it would be too much pain in the ass to kind of mask it up and spray it and stuff. The whole like center assembly right there. So again, I just did it with steel. It definitely needs black wash to kind of make it kind of stand out a little bit. We talked about leading edges. They were done with polished aluminum from aka 481 Extreme Metals. And the bottom, which I'm not sure if I like or not, but I did rubber black XF85 to break up the Mr. Surfacer. So I kind of turn this over, and it's kind of annoying me a little bit. They swing around, so I might get a little PVA glue and just kind of hold these into position a little bit like that, so they're not kind of falling around everywhere. Makes it a little bit easier. See on the other, you're not see the other side at all, but again you can see some like tonal differences there. It looks a little more brighter on the camera, I think, than it does in real life. But again, you're not going to see any of this, it's facing down. But that's kind of where we're at now. Like I said, I think I'm definitely going to kind of just log glue in the corners here, just PVA, so you can always move it in the future, just to kind of hold that in place so they're not all swinging around in my face everywhere. So yeah, looking good how it is. Next step, we're going to do the decals, which is not much, obviously, it's just on top. There's basically two stripes, two sets of stripes. This is one decal for two stripes and one decal for two stripes. It's no real panel lines or anything to go by. It's just a little bit of by the eye, kind of judging where these things go. It's number 57 is a decal, and I looked high and low on this decal sheet. I looked on the floor. I thought I dropped it, because if you look at the sheet down here, you know, 54. Oh, like 54 is down here, and you think 57 is probably where the weapons are down here somewhere, but actually it's this piece right here. So if you look at 57 is right up here. I looked forever and finally found them. So cut it out. So it's these guys. And just turn the light down a little. There you go, you can see a lot better now. So these guys, so sorry for around lighting. So I'm going to put these on now. I don't need a clear coat, just for a few little lines, but I've got the two on each blade. And what we'll do then is we'll get a clear coat, and then we'll come back and add some washes to kind of pick out some more detail on this thing. But yep, so far so good. Real delicate kind of holding this thing, so the little plastic cup thing definitely worked a treat, because it's kind of tricky to kind of hold when it's like this, swinging around and stuff. It's kind of hard to manage, but fingers crossed we'll be okay. So let me go ahead and do these decals, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're finished with these guys. Not a lot of work, but it's nice to kind of build these in subsections and kind of at the very end bring all the stuff together. So what I did was I put a clay wash on, dark dirt. So rubbed it on, put it on, rubbed it off, delete the power lines, and see some dirt and stuff and grime in certain areas. Then I hit a flat coat, and then I come in with some oil. So what I used was this stuff. I had this streaking grime by MIG. aka MIG did these oil washes. All they are, to be honest with you, just oil paint mixed with enamel thinner. That's all it is. Just a little. So you make your own up, no problem. Problem with these are very good shelf life. Like, they would go gloopy off like a year, I find, and you have to throw them away, so it's a waste. So I do have this one around, but in future I wouldn't necessarily buy some of these unless you're using a lot of the same color. It's better just to buy these guys, oil paints, and you can do so much more with them, and just like a little, like size of like a pea or a piece of sweet corn or something, you can drop it in there and mix it with all this enamel thinner, and that's basically what it is, create your own wash. So anyway, so I did streaking grime. So what I did was I put a little bit along top of I keep calling fan blades, the rotor blades. And I have this brush, which is kind of cool, AH-1Z. You guys can see that. You can see the end, it's good for streaking. So what I did was I basically put the streaking grime on, and put it backwards and forwards, put it along the leading edge, and then just basically just kind of up and down, and with the way this kind of bristles are, it creates like the streaks. It was a little too heavy, so what I came back was I just got my enamel thinners. I happen to have this one open, which is Abtai Long, but there's tons of different enamel thinners, and just dipped my brush in and then just ran over it again, backwards and forwards, and it kind of took a lot of the kind of dirt. This one's a little bit more grimier, which is fine. I think it kind of looks cool, but yeah, so I basically did that and create the streaks. As you can see, it's still drying a little bit, but it's going to dull back, but it creates those streaks on there, and that kind of came with a pretty good effect, I think. I did a quick black wash, power line wash in the metallic part, and on the underneath I did the same again, not that you can really see much with the black. Yeah, maybe kind of light. And that is it. I mean, cool. Oh, one other thing I did was I did a few little chips here and there along the back of the rotors. You see, just using some steel color. Basically, just taking these packing foams you get with buying any resin or Edward stuff. You always get these like foam, which are never thrown away. They're always cool. So I use them to kind of put in for painting, like put into like intakes or wheel wells to kind of block it. So like a paint mask. And also, if you cut a little piece up, kind of like this, then what you can do is just dip it in your paint, take off the excess, and then just dab it. And it creates that kind of chipping effect on there too. So that's kind of what I did here. So yeah, that's the main rotors done. This guy I've built to and painted. Just a couple of things to watch out for on this one. I'm going to put that down. Is a little tricky instructions here. So you've basically got, pointing my streaking brush, D37, D38, it's basically like a horseshoe shape with like a bit of plastic going behind it. One's shorter than the other. So what basically you need to do is, if you look on here, I'll move this out of the way so it focuses a little better. Two blades are further forward than these two. So the two further forward, you put the longer, one with the longer kind of plastic tail behind it, and the shorter one is the shorter one. So when you put a piece behind it, this like cross shaped, it kind of all joins together. So just a heads up on that one. So the ones, if your blades further forward, use a longer kind of tail, which is, I think it's D37, and D38 has a shorter kind of bit of plastic behind it. This is a little bit kind of confusing. You see how it's sticking out and stuff. I guess kind of caused me more confusion than kind of helping me, to be honest with you. So yeah, so basically it should all be facing this way with a tail kind of going behind, and again the longer tail on the front forward one and the shorter one from the rear ones, and then it should meet perfectly on the what number is it? It is C4, which is kind of like the back piece. So that's done. It's painted light ghost grey for now. I'm going to go ahead and just paint, as with that one, paint steel in the middle, and maybe create a few little streaks and stuff just to grime it up a little bit. But that is it. So that's the rotor blade set. Turned out really good. Like I mentioned a few times in the video too, my preference, that's my first ever helicopter. I think next time I'll probably paint all these separately and just glue them in and then take care of the filling and stuff afterwards and touch that up, and you can kind of leave all this stuff alone. It was a little unwieldy kind of paint it all as one, but lessons learned. But again, I've used this Legend AH-1Z blade fold set, and it's LF1367. But I think it's worthwhile because, as you can see, the footprint is a lot smaller, having it all folded up, and it can easily fit on a shelf or in a cabinet or somewhere. But it does kind of give you an idea of the size of the aircraft, because this is pretty much the length of the aircraft when it's done, so you can see how big it's going to be when we get there. So cool. So we spent a whole video somehow yapping about blade folds, but hopefully you found that one interesting. I'll be back next week with another part, and we'll start bringing all this together, all these sub-assemblies we've been working on. So thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.